Hello everyone and welcome back. I am going to show you how we can set the background color for our project and also how we can add assets to our project. So first thing we're going to do is set the background color. Let's talk about this main.ts file. So this is the entry point for our program. The code runs here, and the way it works is there's two things that we're going to be kind of working with at the beginning. The first one is going to be the global scale, which essentially means anything that's kind of outside of any other functions, like up here or down here, that's going to be at the global scale. That means it's going to be accessible by every internal function. We want to set things at the global scale that are established right at the beginning of our program. So, for example, setting the background color. If we're not going to be creating a dynamic background color that's going to be changing all the time, then we can set it at the global scale. We can always update it later dynamically inside of here, but initially, because I don't want to keep calling that set function over and over again if it's not necessary, we're only going to call it right at the beginning. So this is at the global scale. Now this is at the this is within this game.onUpdate function. Now this function runs constantly. It runs at 30 frames per second, and it is always going. As long as the app is going, as long as my program is going, it's going. It's actually going right now. And I could demonstrate that by going to my terminal, new terminal. And this is very important for testing. We can see our output. Right now there's no output, but I actually need to set this to MakeCode. So again, terminal, new terminal, go to output and change this to MakeCode. Now I can see any output that would be down here. And the way I can output it is by typing console.log. And I can put whatever I want in here, test. And now we'll see just constantly printing test. Or if I were to do something like let x equal 0, and then x plus plus, oh sorry, x plus plus, and then log x, there we go. There we go. Now you can see it just keeps counting up, 90, 100, and this is 30 frames per second, so it's going real fast. You know, it's been 10 seconds, so it's at 30, 300 something. So console.log is how we can see output here. This is great for testing, but anyway, don't need to do that right now, so I'll take that out. I'll take this out. What we're going to do is set the background color for our program, and the way we're going to do that is using this built-in scene right here, scene, and then not background. We can see a lot of functions here. We're actually going to use set background color. Now I can also start typing and then it will recommend which one. Hey, it recommended it pretty well. Set background color, I click it and it just fills in. This is a function, so I need to open and close parentheses here. If I just open it, it automatically closes it. That's how VS Code works. And then it'll even tell me, if I do that again, it'll tell me what it's expecting. It says color number. Interesting. So it wants a number for the color. So let's try putting a number in. Let's try putting 1. And I save my file and it automatically updates over here. What about 2? Cool. What about 3? Awesome. Okay, so yeah, whenever I update this number, something changes over here. Now, what is this corresponding to? Well, we don't know yet, but we can learn. So let's now work on our image asset, and that'll actually show us how these colors work as well. So over here, Asset Explorer, and then Images. I'm going to click this plus to create a new image asset, and we're going to create one. So there's some drawing tools over here. I can just start drawing, trying to draw it. I can use a rectangle. Let's use a rectangle. I'm going to draw a rectangle, then I can use this fill. I'm just going to fill it in, and we're going to make a square happy face. So I don't know how, didn't want to do that. I can Control Z to undo, and then we'll go, I'm just going to count in 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. And we'll draw 3 by 3. I'll do the same thing over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoops, did I go 1, 2, 3? Edges, okay. There we go, and then we'll draw a little happy face here. Probably a little higher there. Yeah, doesn't matter that much. I don't know why I'm trying so hard to make this look decent. Doesn't matter. We're just testing with it. Okay, there we go. We got a very nice little square happy face. Now down here I can write the name of the file. I'm going to write happy face. And the way that I name things in here is I use a lowercase h and then a capital F. This is called camel case. So the first word is lowercase. Any subsequent words are capitalized. There's no underscores or dashes or anything like that. That's a JavaScript convention. We're using TypeScript, which is a form of JavaScript. So happy face, just like that. Great. And now you can see over here, after I click out of here, it actually updates. So when I move away, it updated the name here, happy face. The other thing I just want to mention, let's say I take these four corners out, just so it makes it kind of look rounded. This sort of thing here, this is transparency, which means it's whatever's underneath there is actually going to show through. So I don't have to make it a perfect square shape. We can also see the size of this is 16 by 16 pixels, which is pretty normal size for assets here. Our screen size is 160 pixels by 120 pixels. So the width is 160, height is 120, which means this is going to be about 1/10 of the width and a little bit more of that of the height. So that's a pretty decent sized asset for what we're trying to accomplish here. So I have my happy face here. The next thing I want to do is actually put my happy face onto my screen. It's not showing up here because I haven't used it yet. So the way this works is I'm going to create a new sprite. We use sprites. That's what they call the little images. Whatever you place on the screen is called a sprite. You might have heard that word before if you've done any like retro game stuff. So we'll say let happy sprite or something like that equal, and then we'll say sprites, which is another built-in namespace, dot create, and we're creating a new sprite. And then the first thing it wants is what image do we use? And the image we use is the one that we just made. And the way we do that is by calling our assets namespace here, assets dot image. Now this is kind of weird the way it calls this. It's a little bit unintuitive, but we're going to use these kind of ticks, back ticks I think they're called. This is in like the upper left corner of your keyboard usually. Back ticks are like on the same button as the tilde, something like that. And then we type our asset name here, which is going to be happy face. And then it's going to search our assets through the images. And look at that, it placed our happy face on the screen. That's cool. We also want to set the kind of sprite though. So if this is going to be our player, we're going to set it as a player. So we'll say sprite kind dot player. And we can set new types if we want. By default, there's several. There's enemy, food, player, and projectile, which are the four most possible common, types of sprites you would have in a game. You have something you consume, you'll have something you shoot, you'll have an enemy, and you'll have your player. So this is going to be our player. And there we go. We got our little sprite, our little happy face on the screen. You can see the little pink corners going through. If I go back to happy face here, back to the editing, and let's say I try to trim up more of the corners out a little bit, make it look slightly more rounded. And then I go back over to here. Look at that, it updates in real time. So I can edit my smiley face in real time here, and it will automatically update over here. And you can see by default, it places our sprite right in the middle of the screen. So in the next video, I'll be showing how we can place our sprite in other places.